Let's imagine an immigrant family that arrived in America in 2015. The family consists of a mother, a father, a 14-year-old son, and a 1-year-old daughter. After about 10 years, the mother and father still struggle with English. Even if they speak it, you can immediately tell they are not native speakers. The 14-year-old son, now 24, speaks English fluently, but if you pay close attention, you can tell he is not a native speaker. Meanwhile, his younger sister, who is now 11, speaks exactly like a local. Hello everyone, my name is Yasin. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to explore a fascinating topic, the role of age in learning a new language. I know you have got your own little idea about the effect of age on foreign/second language learning, but trust me, you're going to change your mind after watching this video. Patowski, 1980, a researcher you and I have never heard of before, obtained global syntactic proficiency ratings for 67 non-native speakers of English. So, to clear things up, he had native-speaking judges rate the subjects on the basis of written transcripts corresponding to 5-minute recorded segments, thus avoiding a confounding influence of accent. This Patowski guy was intelligent after all, right? Anyways, subjects who had been exposed to English before age 15 received much higher ratings on average than those who arrived in the United States after age 15. Additionally, the fundamental difference hypothesis, Blay-Vraham in 1988, which states that whereas children are known to learn language almost completely through implicit domain-specific mechanisms, adults have largely lost the ability to learn a language without reflecting on its structure and have to use alternative mechanisms, drawing especially on their problem-solving capacities to learn a second language. This fundamental difference hypothesis is another prime evidence to support the claim just mentioned. I know, the evidence I have just provided you with seems kind of archaic. Here is a more recent study conducted in 2025 to support it. The study in question by Monroe et al. Under the title Age Still Matters After Early Adulthood challenges the common focus on childhood versus adulthood in second language learning by examining a less studied age range, early to middle adulthood. Researchers analyzed the English and French proficiency scores of nearly 2,000 immigrants to Canada, all of whom arrived between the ages of 15 and 50 and had lived in Canada for about 5 years on average. The participants came from 11 different native language backgrounds. Using a standardized assessment tool, the Canadian language benchmarks. Just like you, I don't know what that is. So, the study found a clear pattern. The older someone was when they arrived, the lower their proficiency scores tended to be. However, the strength of this age effect varied depending on the learner's first language. Interestingly, the number of years spent living in Canada did not meaningfully predict how proficient someone became. Now, let's take 4 learners of English in Algeria, all in the same class. Let's assume. Learner number 1 is 5. Learner number 2 is 14 years old. Learner number 3 is 25. And learner number 4 is 35 years old. After 2 years of learning, of instruction or so, will we see the same results as before? Do younger learners achieve better proficiency in English in this case? According to studies conducted under what is known as the BAF Barcelona Age Factor, published in 2006 in the book Age and the Rate of Language Learning. I know this information is like ancient history, but the important finding is that in this second experiment, the opposite will happen. Younger learners will not achieve better progress in learning a foreign language. According to the same study, the age of the foreign language learner affects not only the final outcome, their level of proficiency, but also the very way they learn the target language. So, as I have just mentioned, in this case, younger learners will not achieve better results than adults. This is due to factors related to the degree of motivation. Adults often have stronger internal or even external motivation. In addition, they have a greater ability to notice recurring patterns in the language, etc. More recent studies to support this include Beyond Age Effect in Instructional L2 Learning by Finger and Singleton, 2017. This is a recent book that directly addresses why older starters often surpass younger starters in classroom contexts. It found that in Swiss multilingual schools, late starters age 12 plus catch up to and often surpass early starters age 6 to 8 relatively quickly. The authors argue that age of onset is not only of minimal relevance for many aspects of instructed language acquisition, but that in this context, a later onset can be beneficial. Surprisingly, a second evidence resides in a recent PhD thesis in 2026 by Zhang entitled Effects of Age, Memory, and Instruction on Second Language Learning in Middle Childhood and Early Adolescence. Evidence from Cross-Cultural Situational Learning. It's a doctoral dissertation from Lancaster University. This study is interested in 8 to 13-year-old learners in classroom contexts. It ultimately reached the result that a qualitative change occurs around age 12, at which point children become more responsive to explicit instruction. This suggests developmental readiness matters. Explicit instruction is not uniformly effective across ages. The study also found that age, working memory, and memory abilities interact to shape early L2 development.